How I feel? Blessed. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rock her hips. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she clap her hips, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about me overreacting and giving Eric Bieniemy unrealistic expectations. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. They're totally free. All this is free. So I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe and follow me on social medias. Thank you so much. Let's get straight to it, okay? Alright, so we're getting ready to watch some good Thursday night football. Hopefully it is, at least with the Steelers and the Titans. I'm excited to see what mailman Will Levis can do, building off of that performance he had last Sunday. But before we get to watch that, I wanted to come on here and upload a video about our Washington Commanders, and I want to talk about me personally as a fan. And I know I'm probably not the only one, but I'm going to just clear up myself and speak for myself personally. I feel like I have been hard on Eric Bieniemy, and I've kind of put out these unrealistic expectations for Eric Bieniemy in year one of offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. The reason that is because I thought he was going to just be this perfect guy. We often evaluate these players, their week in and week out performance every single week. We evaluate these players front end and back end. But as fans, I like to evaluate myself too. I like to hold myself to a certain standard as a fan, just how I expect to hold these guys to certain standards as NFL players. As a fan, I like to hold myself to a realistic standpoint as a fan. And what do you mean by that, Juan? I'm not going to be the guy that comes on here and that is all jolly about the Washington Commanders or NFL, because I upload NFL videos from time to time too. I'm not a guy that's going to be totally negative. I'm going to be a guy that's realistic and tell you the truth and give it to you how I see it. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm always right. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to change my opinion at some point if I'm wrong. That's just telling you how I am in the moment. Now, what are you saying all this for, Juan? What are you blabbing about? What I'm saying is, I feel like I've been hard on Eric Bieniemy, and I can honestly say that I have. Eric Bieniemy has not been perfect by any means, but I think my expectations for Eric Bieniemy are kind of unrealistic. Like I mentioned before, I kind of expected Eric Bieniemy to just come in here and just be perfect. Like, I expected him to come in here and just light the world on fire and no mistakes. Because I saw the success that he had in Kansas City, I just assumed, hey, it ain't nothing gonna be different. Not knowing that he didn't have Patrick Mahomes, not knowing that he didn't have Travis Kelce, I just expected everything just to, come on right over to Washington. And especially after that preseason performance. You can't tell me after that preseason performance, in them couple games, including the Ravens, victory to end their preseason win streak, you couldn't tell me you didn't feel good about Eric Bieniemy. I felt off the wall about EB. And I thought this was going to be a fluid thing. I thought this was going to be perfect. And I have to realize he's human. He is a first-year offensive coordinator when it's his show. I understand. He's been in Kansas City 10 years, and he's been technically an offensive coordinator for multiple of those 10 years. But this is the first time that it's his show. Sam Howell is his quarterback. And I got to understand that he's not going to be perfect. I don't think I'm unrealistic in my thinking of Eric Bieniemy, but I think I'm unrealistic in him not messing up. I just thought he would get it. But he has to learn too. I think Eric Bieniemy is a talented offensive coordinator. I think it's the little things that he doesn't get. Similar to Scott Turner. At times, you can't tell me Scott Turner didn't have some gem of plays at times. It was just the little things that he didn't get, and those little things got very old quickly. And for fans like myself, going through 3 years of Scott Turner's BS and those things that he couldn't get, when Eric Bieniemy started to show those tendencies and flashes, it was like, oh no, man, this is Scott Turner all over again. Although we know Eric Bieniemy is way more talented than a Scott Turner, it was them little things that Scott Turner failed to do. Situational awareness, lack of adjustment. These are signs that Eric Bieniemy have shown through the first 8 weeks of the season. And I'm like, nah, man, this is like Scott Turner all over again. Honestly. But again, I have to realize this man has only been the guy for a couple months. It's different. If this was still Kansas City and he was the guy, and it was no Andy Reid, and it was his show, and he was performing like this, I could understand being totally upset. But he's only been with these guys for a couple of months. So, as he mentioned in his press conference today, and if you guys have not got a chance to check out his press conference, please do. It was good today, and I have a good feeling about this game this Sunday. I don't think we're going to have an offensive explosion like we tend to do versus the Eagles, but I expect us to win. Whether that's like 21, I expect it to be an ugly game, 21-15, 18-15. I expect it to be a slow day for the offense. I really do. But it just feels good. It feels like a breath of fresh air. You know, I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. And Eric Bieniemy, he's always saying he needs to be better. He's always the one taking accountability. He's always the one talking about Sam Howell's development and how he is right where he needs to be, and how it's not by purpose of him throwing the ball 50 times, but it's just what he wants to do, I guess you would say. You know, so he say he's going to work on involving the run game. Again, the reason why I was so high and most like so expectation, I don't even know if that's a word. I could be sitting up here making up words. Why I was so expecting a lot out of Eric Bieniemy immediately is because of the success he had in Kansas City. But again, I had to realize it wasn't just him by himself. It was Andy Reid, and it was Patrick Mahomes, and it was Travis Kelce, and those issues don't really lie here with me. The issues that I have are fixable issues, really, honestly. It's involving a run game more. And I understand y'all like, wow, we don't really have the best offensive line to run the ball, but you can create ways to run the ball if you really want to. You don't have a stout, strong offensive line up front, okay? Run outside runs. Run runs where the guard is pulling, okay? If you don't have a stout offensive line that you don't trust to run up the middle or run to engage contact, you can create space with those guys by doing jet sweeps, tosses, sweeps left, sweep right. You can do things that involve the run game. You don't have to totally abandon it. It's things like dropping your 23-year-old quarterback back 50 times a game that I just can't get over. It's things like failing to adjust protection for Andrew Wiley, who's clearly inept. It's things like bad play calls on 4th and 1. I swear on everything I love. Everything I love. We get that first down on 4th and 1, we're winning that game. Because you go up 21-3. Did y'all see Curtis Samuel on that 4th and 1? He was screaming for a touchdown. He was screaming for a touchdown. We go up 21-3 on that drive. The Eagles not touching us. They not touching us. So it's little things with Eric. And that's why I'm like, right now, how I feel about EB, I don't necessarily think I'm ready to say he could be the head coach of this team. But if we get a new head coach and it happens to not be EB, I would strongly consider keeping this offensive coordinator here, and that being Eric Bieniemy. Because remember, guys, he signed a 2-year deal. We just all assumed he was going to be perfect to where he most likely were not going to be able to be here because he was going to get an offensive or a head coaching job elsewhere, and Ron Rivera probably was going to be here. But luckily for us, Ron Rivera is gone, and Eric Bieniemy may still get that opportunity to be the head coach. Again, he has 9 games to prove it. It's not over by any means. We're 3-5. We're 1 game out of the wild card talk. So it's not over for him to be head coach. But if we had to make a assumption right now, I'm leaning more towards just bringing Eric Bieniemy back as my offensive coordinator. Now, that may not be a good thing because you're going to eventually lose him. But look, keep Tavita Pritchard here. And I don't know if Tavita Pritchard is capable or not of being an offensive coordinator, but if you keep Tavita Pritchard here, EB is grooming him. He's learning all he can learn from EB. EB's here next year for his final year of his contract, and we have yet another great offensive performance in year like we're having so far with Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy. He goes off to another team. Boom. Promote Tavita Pritchard to offensive coordinator, and we should be good, and we should keep Sam Howell in the same system. That's my biggest thing. I don't want Sam Howell to have to learn a third system in 3 years, and I definitely think Sam Howell is capable of learning a new system. I just don't want that to happen, because you see at times how good he can be in this offense. Can you imagine 2, 3 years, 4 years from now in this same exact offense? I don't want to compare him to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or none of these top quarterbacks, but those are guys that's kind of been in the same system for years now. Ken Dorsey is a little bit different than Brian Dable, but I feel like that they probably had the same kind of scheme, right? So these are guys, look how they perform in the same offense. Sam Howell's put up 400 yards in his first year as the full-time starter, and one first year of learning a new offense. Imagine what he's gonna do in 3 years. So right now, again, I'm not declaring EB as head coach. I'm not declaring myself of stop, being hard on EB, because I am, and it's not hard on him because I don't like EB. I love Bieniemy, man. I do, and I think he has the talent to be a really good offensive coordinator in this league. Again, I'm not quite ready to say head coach until I see a full season of this consistency, but I'm hard on him because I expected more at this moment. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's unrealistic, because if you look at our 8 games, and that's why I'm coming on here to kind of be kind of come on here and be a reason. You look at our 4 out of our 8 games, we've put up 30 points, and most times in the NFL, when you put up 30 points, you should win these games. Last week we put up 30 points versus the Eagles. We should have won that game, honestly. You put up 30 points against the Eagles the first time. That's 2 games. You should have won that game. Then you put up 35 versus the Broncos. You won that game. All right, that's 3 games right there. And then the Bears game, you just totally didn't show up. You did not show up, and that's the thing with Bieniemy that I still have to, that I hope he gets used to and fixes and gets better at, is you have to show up when it comes to lesser opponents. We cannot play down to our competition, because when you look at our 2 losses, like I think the Bills game was still our only expected potential kicking. But when you look at these 2 losses with the Bears and the Giants, we played down to lesser of our opponent. Neither of these teams have better teams than us, talent-wise. We have the superior talent, but we played down to our opponents, and we did not show up that day. EB has to do better at showing up against lesser opponents. There's no way we should have only scored 7 points against the Giants. We had opportunities to score way more points than that, but we didn't show up. And Bieniemy did not put his team in the best position to be successful. Same could be said for the Bears game. We did not show up to play. All right, and then the Falcons game, you only put up 24 points, but you should have put up 35 at least, right? So again, it's not fair to just clamor on Bieniemy, but it is a little bit of validity here as to why I, am hard on him, because I expect him to be great, man. He's shown flashes. It's the consistency that I need to see from Bieniemy. I need to consistently see a game like he had Sunday. If I could just make it a slight adjustment, I would throw in a little bit more running opportunities. If he can advance his playbook to running a little bit more out in the center, we would be good. If we could find a way to use more Alex Armour, we'll be good. Even though Alex Armour only picked up 1 yard on that pass, I like that we even tried it. I really do. Terry had, I want to say, was it 10 to 12 targets last Sunday? I love that. We should not revert back to what we would look like versus the Giants, what we look like versus the Bears, what we look like versus the Falcons. Again, I'm almost expecting us to, but if we go to Foxborough and we put up at least 30 again, that's the consistency that I'm looking forward to. But I'm almost expecting us not to, because Bill Belichick is going to come ready to play. And if we have a tough time offensive-wise, I'm almost expecting it. So I'm not even going to be mad. As long as we win, I'll be good. But, again, I just want to come on here to talk about that. Because I'll be honest, I have been hard on EB. And it's been unfair at times because he has been, good. He's been good. I just expect him to be borderline perfect. And that's just the honest truth of the matter. And at least I can own up to it. At least I can come on here and own up to it. That I've expected him to be perfect, and that's unrealistic. Nobody's perfect. People make mistakes every day. We're human. We're gonna always make mistakes, okay? And we're not gonna be perfect. If I can just see the consistency from Bieniemy, we should be good. And this is the perfect time to do it. Hopefully, praying to the Father heavens that this is around the time where we get on our 4-game heater. Hopefully it happens, because if it does, I feel a little bit more different than I did in years past when we hit 4-game heaters. At 4-game heaters in years past with Taylor Heineke and stuff like that, we would know at some point Taylor Heineke would have a stinker. I wouldn't feel that way with Sam Howell. Sam Howell, I feel comfortable and confident in that he is going to be able to ride this thing out for more than just 4 games. If we in fact get there, again, it's 1 game at a time. We have to get there at some point. We have to start by beating the Patriots on Sunday. Everything that I'm saying right now could easily go out the window if we lose to the Patriots. But if we win, you go on the road, beat the Patriots. I think you can go on. Dang, I'm just now looking at it, y'all. We got back-to-back road games. That's crazy. They did us dirty this year, in my opinion. We don't have one. Let me double check before I say this statement. We don't have. Oh, we do. Okay, we do. We got. No, we don't. We don't, y'all. I'm looking at our schedule right now. We don't have no back-to-back home games, but we got back-to-back road games for the second time this season. Remember, we just came home from a back-to-back, right? We was at the Falcons, then we was at the Meadowlands, then we came home versus the Eagles. Now we back-to-back on the road again at Foxborough versus the Patriots. Then you got a fly cross country versus the Seahawks on 425. That can affect us. Hopefully not, but that can affect us. And then you're back home versus the Giants again for the second meetup. And then you're back on the road versus the Cowboys. So even though we're on the road for 2 out of these 4 games right here, and the 2 out of 4 are back to back. Well, actually 3 out of 4 because we got the Cowboys. Never mind. Man, this is tough. I think Washington can do it, and this is the perfect time to do it. You beat the Patriots, you're 4-5. Okay, you're 1 game out of the wild card spot, depending on what happens Sunday versus some of these wild card teams. Then after that, you got the Seahawks, who I think is very beatable. They're playing good ball right now. They are, but I think they're very beatable. You can go to Seattle, get that victory, you're back to 500. Then you got the lonely Giants, whether it's Daniel Jones, whether it's Tommy DeVito, whether it's Tyrod Taylor, whoever it is, you got to take advantage of them this time. You cannot have a stinker again like you did last time. You beat them, you're now 6-5. 6-5, and then you got the 6-5. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it right now. What, they're 5-2 right now, 6-2, whatever the Cowboys are. I think they're 5-2 maybe at this current state. Let me look it up right quick. Yeah, they're 5-2. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. They'll probably be. I'll say 8-3 or something. 7-3 maybe. 7-3, 8-2 at that point. So you got the 6-5 or 6-5 Commanders taking on the 8-3 or 7-4 Cowboys. Whatever their record may be, they're gonna be good at that time. That's a big matchup, and I think that's winnable. You have to, if you want to make something out of this season, you have to get hot right here. You have to. In years past, we got hot right here, but we didn't think it was gonna happen. It just happened. Right here, we think it can happen because of the opponents we have right here. And if you want to make something out of this season, you have to get hot right here. There's no ifs or ands or buts about it, because your December is pretty tough. You got the Dolphins. Then you have the Rams and LA. Then you got the Jets, 49ers, and the Cowboys. And then the Jets and 49ers. And you got the Cowboys to close out the season. So if you want to make something out of this season, we have, and I mean have, to get on a 4-game heater here. And it's crazy that the same team that kind of ruined our 4-game heater last year, the Giants, is the same team that we close out that 4-game stretch against again. So we have to do this thing. It cannot be shades of last year if we want to make something out of the season. And I honestly think, and I know this video was mainly about EB, but we always touch other things. I honestly would not be surprised if this defense plays better without Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Again, that's not no knock to those guys. But I think when we play within the scheme of Jack Del Rio, even though it's not a good scheme, we've seen these DMs play better. And these are guys that are just fighting to get on roster spots, so you don't have to worry about them doing their own thing like Montez Sweat or Chase Young. These guys are going to play within the system and listen to coaching because they have to, or they're not going to be on the field. So it wouldn't surprise me if Sunday the defense plays better and potentially have their best performance outside of that Giants game. But again, this video is titled, and it's about Bieniemy, so I want to get back to the main point before we close it out. I've been hard on EB, and I'm going to continue to be, expecting a lot out of the EB because I think he has the opportunity and potential to do it. I wouldn't be hard on you if I didn't think you could do it. Isn't that something that our parents always said? Whatever we do, sports, whatever, they're hard on us because they know we can do it. I'm hard on EB because I know he can be great in this league as an offensive coordinator and or potential head coach at some point if he continues to be good as an offensive mind. It's just the consistency I need to see from him. The ability to adjust in game. Okay? Those are my two things. I want to run the ball, but shoot, man. If he doesn't want to run the ball, what are we going to do? We can't force him. The things that he can change, that he should change, is the things I mentioned before. The ability to adapt to a game. So you see something's not working, scratch that, switch it up. And then the ability to situational awareness. And better play calling in different situations. Don't need to go empty set on 4th and 1, EB. You got to run it back for a reason. If you want to go past there, quick pass. Quick pass. Something quick. Don't got to be a deep. Don't got to be empty set. Okay? More of the story. Bieniemy I think he's going to be fine. And I think he's going to adjust. He's going to adjust well. And I think he is going to, eventually get this thing right. And I'm talking consistently. We've seen these performances here and there. I need it for the rest of the season if we want to make something out of it. Again, guys, the season is not over. We are very well alive, especially if we can find a way to win Sunday. So with that being said, as always, it's me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, hail to the Washington Commanders. One road to 7,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. And let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section. I'm eager to hear you guys' response. Were you hard on EB, or were you kind of just like, hey, EB, I expected you to, be a little bit shaky at times? Let me know. I'm interested to hear you guys' comments in the comment section. Y'all have a blessed night and enjoy Thursday Night Football. See y'all later. Peace.